Hello, sports fans. Welcome back to Gang Grid Sports. I'm George Conrad, your host. This is our Monday cast, November 24th. One of the things you might have noticed if you've been following along is that I've been using a lot of hashtags and such. You know, they draw interest, they draw engagement, they draw eyes. That's important with what I'm doing here. One of the hashtags, though, that I've been trying to get going because I've been trying to use it as something to recognize Gang Grid Sports and follow us and everything. When you see it, you think of Gang Grid Sports. And that is the hashtag Grit Recognizes Grit. And that's very important to me. I search for stories, whether they're, present day, current stories, current events, or retro nostalgia stories, looking back on sports history. What appeals to me is gritty, old school, head first type of sports. Whether we're playing football, basketball, baseball, doesn't matter. That's what appeals to me, and that's the kind of stories that I'm looking to share. I hope you guys all enjoy them. But while grit recognizes grit, grit also needs to be able to call itself out. And I do need to call myself out. I have to bring up this post here for you, but I have to call myself out because yesterday, with 5:07 remaining in the first half, the second quarter of the Eagles-Cowboys game, I made this post after Dak Prescott threw an interception into the end zone. This post right here, you can see Gang Grid Sports up at the top. So I'm not hiding behind this. I called Dak out for not showing up, for wilting under pressure. I know the stats may not back me up. There may be plenty of games where he showed up in big games, but not in my memory. Nothing that jumps out at me. Every memory I have since Dak Prescott has been leading the Cowboys, every memory I have that jumps into my mind are just memories of him folding under pressure, not coming up with the big game. Maybe playing okay, but just not going above and beyond to be able to pull out that really key victory that they need. And so when he made that interception, the Cowboys had a chance to cut into the lead. It was 21-0 Eagles. It was all Eagles up to that point. Didn't look like the Cowboys were going to be able to stop them. It looked like it was going to be one of those games, 50-something to end the teens, if that. And at that point, with the Eagles taking over, 5:07 remaining in the first half, Quinnen Williams, the return for Micah Parsons in the deal to Green Bay, he is a superstar run stopper. I don't know if he rallied the troops, what he did, but I know I kept hearing his name. He got in the middle of everything. He started shutting Saquon down. He only ran once in that series, but they shut him down. Hurts threw an incompletion, he threw a short pass, a short completion. Then there was a penalty, then an incompletion, technically a 3-and-out. So they punted. From that point going forward, there was 2:52 left on the clock when the Cowboys got the ball back, left in the first half, and Dak proceeded to drive them 72 yards in 6 plays and hit Pickens for a 3-yard touchdown right near the end of the first half to cut the lead to 21-7 and take back a little bit of momentum. Then the second half started. I don't know if the Eagles completely took their foot off the gas or if the Cowboys defense just played that well. I'm going to give credit to the Cowboys in this instance for this reason only. Big Q. We've got to go back to him. I heard his name the whole second half. I watched him stuffing Saquon Barkley. I watched him take on 2 and sometimes 3 blockers, freeing up other people. This is the kind of stuff that Micah used to be able to do for the Cowboys, but his specialty was the pass rush. This is awesome. Shut down the running game and then let everybody else worry about the pass. I don't know. It worked. Jalen Hurts was ineffective in the second half. Saquon Barkley, I don't even know what he ended up with. I mean, 22, I think he had 22 rushing yards and somewhere around 50, 52, 54 receiving yards. But, a decent game for most people. But is that a Saquon Barkley game? No, it's not. Second half, it was the Dak Pressley show. Now he ended well, when they got the ball back before the drive that culminated in the touchdown at the end of the second quarter. He had 84 passing yards at that point. They had that 72-yard drive, and then the whole second half, he ended up with 354 total yards passing, 2 touchdown passes, and he went gritty, head first, dive through the Philadelphia defense into the end zone for a rushing touchdown as well. You know, it was something that you had to witness, especially after you go out on a limb to call somebody out for not performing, and then you see this. I mean, I'm cheering for him by this point. Comes down to the very end of the game, and Mr. Leg, Brandon Aubrey, hits a 42-yard field goal as time expires for the walk-off 24-21 victory for the Dallas Cowboys, possibly saving their season. They are still in the playoff hunt due to this victory. If they had lost yesterday, I think their playoff chances would have been nil. That being said, they got a shot. They keep playing this way, they could not only make the playoffs, they could make a little bit of noise too. Not saying they're going to go all the way, but they do have the talent on that team. And that being said, you know, we're going to give a gang grid salute to Dak Prescott. Dak, if somehow, some way this video ever finds its way to you, I apologize for calling you out, and I salute you for your great effort in securing this victory for your team. Now, since I brought him up, I'm going to also talk about George Pickens a little bit. And here's why I'm going to talk about him. So this is, of course, his first season wearing the blue star. I live in central Pennsylvania. I grew up in central Pennsylvania. You know, when we watch football on Sundays, every single Sunday, unless they have a bye, unless they played a Thursday night game or they're scheduled for Monday night, every single Sunday the Steelers are on TV around here. We get the local broadcast, they're going to show the Steelers game, right? So I have seen a ton of George Pickens over those first 3 years that he was in the league. And I watched the circus. I don't know, immaturity, lack of coaching responsibility. I don't know. The Steelers have a history of bringing in wide receivers who have great talent, and then they turn into prima donnas, and the next thing you know, they're booting them out of town. In this case, I just want to say to George Pickens, you, sir, you need to be very thankful to God for your blessings, because you ended up in a situation down in Dallas where you have a quarterback who can get you the ball so you can make plays with all of that great talent that God gave you. You know, it seems that you have turned it around somewhat, but, you know, the behavior on the field, things such as that, listen, I know everybody does it, but step up. Be better than the rest of them. Be a generational talent. And not just for clicks on social media, not just for reputation, to be able to brag over your brother wide receivers in the NFL. No, sir. Do it for yourself, and do it for the kids. You know, remember that there are kids watching everything that you do. When you have bad behavior on the field, it's being witnessed by 100,000, 200,000, 250,000, 500,000 kids. I don't know, but I know it's a lot. And kids emulate what they see on TV. I know I did when I was a kid, when I watched those players play. And you know what? I watched Walter Payton, every time he scored a touchdown, run over and hand the ball to the referee. And that's what I did whenever I played. So these kids are going to follow suit. They're going to follow what you're doing, man. Please, I hope somehow, some way, if this message doesn't get through to you, I hope that somebody else is putting out a similar message right now on social media, and somehow that message finds its way back to you, because this is very important. You, sir, are a generational talent athletically. You are gifted beyond anything that I could ever imagine being. I wanted to be you. So please, do yourself a favor, man. That being said, let's talk about what he's done this year. Well, I got the little notes up here behind me. He had 9 receptions for 146 yards yesterday and a touchdown. Now, he played a key role in this comeback. It wasn't just Dak. It wasn't just the defense. It was George Pickens. CeeDee Lamb dropped I don't know how many balls yesterday. Pickens is the new wide receiver 1 in Dallas, in my opinion, until CD proves differently. I don't know. CD looked like he was tweaking out yesterday while he was playing the game. So he had that big game yesterday, and at this point in the season, he has 67 receptions, 1,054 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He has, I think, 6 more games to play this year. I mean, this could end up being a statistical season for the ages for Pickens, but let's not make it a one-time deal. George, grow up, be a man, be a professional, and let's see this every single year. So in another 10 years, I can come on and I can make a podcast saluting you whenever you retire. And folks, that's the end of Gang Grit Sports today. Couple of gritty things that I saw that I just wanted to mention yesterday. Thanksgiving's coming up in a few days. I'm going to be real busy. If you follow along, you've seen a couple of posts, you know that I cook. I'm going to be cooking that Thanksgiving meal Wednesday and Thursday. I'll be watching a lot of football. I'm sure I'm going to be on X and Facebook sharing a lot of things. I might even sneak a podcast in there. So, folks, I hope that you just have a blessed Thanksgiving, that you remember where every good thing comes from, and that is God above, and give your thanks to Him this Thursday, and then give your thanks to the NFL for providing us entertainment every single Thursday. God bless you, folks. I hope I see you again soon.